Hello everybody, it's Anna here from Ipswich Library and welcome to Sunday Crafts. Today we're going to make a puppet like this. You can make, this one is meant to be a giraffe. You can probably see it's got little horns and a very long neck, but you can make any animal you like, and it's just made out of some toilet roll tubes or some kitchen roll tubes and some paper. So that's all you're going to need today. Oh, and some string and a stick for the top. Okay, we're going to pop him on one side and then I'll show you what you need for today. So you're going to need some toilet roll tubes or kitchen roll tubes cut to about the length of a toilet roll tube like this. I painted mine with some paint, whatever colour you like. So if you've got paints then you can use that. But equally, you can just cover your toilet roll tubes with some paper. So all you need is either some coloured or some plain paper, and you can wrap that round your tube and then colour on it with some felt tips. So either some paint or some paper and some colour you will need. And then you'll need some string, just a little bit of string or something to make the strings for your puppet. And you will need a stick. So I've used a garden stick, a piece of bamboo. So if you've got a garden and an adult in your house has got some of these, you can use that. And then there's some other sorts of stick here. But essentially any stick you can find in your house, about the length of a ruler, will be fine. And you could even use something like a wooden spoon. That would be fine too, if you can't find a stick. Okay. And then you'll need some glue and some scissors. So these are all the things that you're going to go and need to find today for our craft. Okay, I'll give you a chance to go and have a look for them. So let's put all these things on one side and we'll show you what to do first. There we are. So first of all, take your toilet roll tube like this. And as I said before, what you're going to need is you're going to need one this side for the body and then one that's about half that size for the head. So you can cut one of these tubes in half to make the head. Okay. If you're lucky enough to have some paints at home, now is the time to paint your tubes in whatever colour you like. I've done a yellow one and a red spotty one for my giraffe. You can colour yours anyhow you like. If you don't have any paints, don't worry. You can either just colour in your toilet roll tubes with a felt tip, or you can take some plain paper and then you can wrap it round your tube like this and glue it on, and then you can decorate your tube however you like, and do the same thing with the small one as well. So you can wrap them around with paper and then you can colour them. And I'll show you one that I've made like that later on. Okay, but I'm just going to use my painted one today. So let's imagine that you have painted your tube for your body and painted your tube for your head, or you've coloured them in however you want. The next thing we're going to do is make some holes in them, and the holes are to make the strings on the puppet. One of the strings fastens onto its bottom there, and the other one of the strings fastens onto the top of the head, just there. Okay. So what you need to get is, if you've got your little bit of blue tack, we've used this before, haven't we, when we've done Sunday crafts, and a pencil, then you need to pop your tube down where you want the hole to be. So put the hole where you want the hole to be on top of your blue tack. Can you see that? And then take your pencil and just leave about 1 centimetre, and then take your pencil and give it a good poke inside your tube like that, and then it will make a hole. Can you see that? Just see my pencil sticking out through it probably. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with the head, about 1 centimetre away from the end of the tube, just poke a little hole. And that is going to be for your string to go through. Alright, so then once you've done that, you can put those on one side. This next bit is to make the legs. I've made some already here. I'm going to show you how to make them. So for this, you'll need 2 sheets of paper. Now I've got 2 that are different colours, hopefully so you can see the difference. But if you've only got white paper, that's fine. You can either colour in the white paper to make different coloured legs, or you can just have white legs. And you'll need a ruler and a pencil. And what you're going to do is about 1 centimetre in from the edge of the paper. You're going to draw a line all the way down the long side of your paper. Okay. You'll need 2 of these. You'll need a white one and a green one I've got, or you'll need 2 different strips, but they need to be the long side of the paper. And then we're going to cut them out. Bear with me a second. There we go. So you're going to cut a long strip out of this. Then, so you can see you've got 2, I've cut them both out together, but you can do yours separately if you want. You've got 2 strips of paper there, okay? So you need 4 legs, obviously, so you're going to do this 4 times. So again, you're going to take your paper and you're going to measure about 1 centimetre away from the end of the paper, draw another line and then cut it out. And do that until you've got 4 lots, so you'll need 8 strips altogether. So for 1 leg, this is how you make these lovely stretchy legs. I'll show you. It's a little bit like origami. And I know that some of you used to do origami with Matthew on Sunday crafts, so you might enjoy doing this. Take one of your strips of paper and glue just a little bit at the end, just a tiny bit there. That's all you need. Okay. Then take your other strip of paper and put it at right angles to the other one and stick it on. So what you'll end up with once it's stuck on is something that looks like that. So 1 strip of paper going down here, 1 strip of paper going down here, and it's stuck in the middle. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold the paper over each other. So I'll turn it round this way. I think that might be able to see better. Take 1 strip of paper and you're going to fold it over the top of this strip of paper here. Then you're going to take this strip and then you're going to fold it over there. It's a bit like plaiting your hair, but just with 2 pieces. So this is why I've done it in 2 colours, so you can see we go white and then green. Then we go white and then green. So I hope you're getting the idea. White and then green, and every time we're folding over the top of the last one. White and then green. You'll be saying this with me, won't you, while I'm doing it. White and then green. White and then green. I'm going to do the last bit really quickly. White and green. You can take your time, and do take your time over this. It's a very nice relaxing thing to do, actually, I found. You can just sit and you can fold these little bits of paper over and over, and you need to keep going until you have folded over all the paper as far as you can. Okay, make it as neat as you can. I've been doing mine quite quickly, so it's not terribly neat. Okay, when you run out of one paper, it doesn't matter which, but when you get to, so you can't fold over anymore, then you need to glue on the top of there, and then just glue your last bit, your last fold that you make, glue that one down. Okay, and then trim off the edges. So remember, we went white and green and white and green. You just fold it over and over and over. Okay. And then when you pull it out, as if by magic, it makes this lovely plaited shape that's really nice for the legs on your animal. So you might want to have a look at that once or twice on the video so that you see what to do. And then, so I've already made some more, so I've got my 4 legs here. And then you need to make one that's a little bit smaller or shorter for the neck. So my giraffe's actually got a very long neck. So if you wanted to make a giraffe, you would have to make one that was even longer. I think for this one, I stuck 2 of these ones together in the middle to make a really long one. But I'm going to make I think I'm going to make this one that I'm doing now into a dog. So I've got a little short neck for him. Okay. So first, now we're going to stick the legs on, and that's really easy. Where you've got the hole, where you've made your hole in your body, that's the top of the body. So you need to stick the legs on the other side, on the bottom. So we stick a nice load of glue on the top of each leg like that. Okay, and then we're going to stick it onto the bottom. And you can squash it back down again like that to help it stick. And then as soon as you let go, it'll boing back. So I'm going to put all the legs on. I'm just going to leave that for a minute to dry then, because I found that you need to leave these legs to dry on, for the glue to dry on a little bit, because they tend to pop off if you don't give them a little bit of time to dry. So let's stick all 4 legs on. That's the next one. Oh, that one stuck to my finger as well. And then this one. There we go, 3 legs. And the last leg, 4 legs. So as I say, leave them to dry for a little while before you play with it, because otherwise the glue will make it come off. And then while we're waiting for the glue to dry, I'm going to take a bit of string and I'm going to thread it through that hole, and then my body will be finished, nearly. So I've got a bit of string. It needs to be quite long, probably about 2 rulers, I think, to start with. About 2 rulers lengths. So, and then we're going to try and poke it through the hole that we made in the body. And if your hole's not quite big enough, you can poke it a bit bigger with your pencil. All right. So can you see? There it is, going through the hole. And then I'm going to tie a knot in it here to make sure it doesn't come out. There we go. All right. So that's going to be my string for holding the body up of my little animal. And then I'm going to give him a tail. So there's his body. Yeah, actually, before I do the tail, I'm going to stick his neck on as well, because then the glue can be drying. So we've got all the glue drying. So this is his neck, his little neck. And it's going to go here at the other end from where the string is. Okay, just there. So I hope I've got plenty of time to make this. It's a very nice puppet to make, but it will take you a little bit of time to make, and especially making all the legs, but it looks really good when it's done, so it's worth it. There we go. So there's his neck. And then I'm going to make him a little tail out of some paper. So again, if you've got some spare paper, I'm going to make him one out of white paper, I think. So you can just cut a little square out of the paper. This is how I made the tail for the giraffe. And then I folded it over. So you can use anything you like to make a tail. You could stick some wool on if you've got some around, or anything you want really to make a nice tail. You could put a fluffy ball on if you wanted to make a rabbit or anything like that. And then I made a fringe like this by cutting little strips of paper with my scissors. And then you can glue the very top edge of it where you've left it, leave a bit that's got no cuts in, and then you can stick it inside there, inside your body. And now you can see when you hold him up that he looks like he's got a tail, and this is his neck. So I'm hoping that the neck and the legs have dried enough now. So I'm going to move on to his head, so you can see how far we've got there. What he could do with the head really. So here's his head. Now remember that when you look at the puppet, he's being held up by the top of his head at the back there. Okay, and here's his bottom. So we're going to, this is the top of his head at the back, so we're going to draw a face on him. So I think I might make this one into like a little dog. So I just drew a face on mine. You could stick some stickers on it or whatever you like. So that's the back of his head, remember, where the hole is. So I'm going to put an eye on it here. Nice big eye. I'm going to do another eye at the other side. I found it's easier to decorate him before you put him on the rest of the puppet, otherwise you've got a lot of things to sort of hang on to. And I might give him a little nose as he's a dog. And then I might give him a tongue actually, and I made a pink tongue for him, so you could colour in a pink tongue. He's got quite a big tongue really. And I might stick that to the bottom. And I think he probably needs some ears as well. There you are. And I'm going to give him some little ears that I made. So you can just, again, you can make these yourself and you can cut them out of anything that you've got at home. You see he's got one little ear there. And another little ear here. Remember to put them, don't put them over the top of the hole because we need to put some string in there. And then we're going to put another piece of string. And this one can be a bit shorter. This one can be about the length of one ruler. I think this one's a little bit longer. All right, and this one is going to go in the hole in the top of his head. So you need to try and get it through your hole. Again, if your hole's not big enough, you can make it a bit bigger. There you are. And then we're going to tie a knot in that as well. So there's been quite a lot of things to remember so far, and we'll go through them again just before I fasten the dog together. Right. There you go. There is, with a bit of string on his head. Okay, right there. So that's his head. Right. So we now need to fasten his body to his head. Now all we need to do is, you can see there that that's where his neck is. So we just need to put some more glue on the top of here. Put lots and lots of glue on to make sure it sticks really well. And then get the head and stick it probably about halfway down his head, like that. There. And you can squish it down. Now it looks like its head stuck to his body at the moment, but when you lift it up, remember that you've got this stretchy bit that you can see there. I'm just going to let that dry for a minute, and then we'll put him on the stick so you can see what's happening. So that's it, you've made it really. So there's lots of little bits there, but remember that we started with his body, and then we made the holes in the top here and in the top there for the string. Then we made these pieces here, which will take you a long time, for his legs. And then we can decorate him with a tail. You could give him a mane if you're making a horse, or some little ears, or a tongue, or anything you like. Right, hopefully that's strong enough. So here's the bit where you make the stick. So if I were you, I would lay your puppet out like this, so that the strings are laying out straight, or as straight as you can get them. And then take your stick, whichever stick you're going to use, and we're going to lie it down here. So this is why you can see that you don't need as long a stick, a longer string for the head as you do for the body, because this has to come a long way. And then we are going to just tie a knot round the stick. Okay, tie a knot there, and then tie a knot on this side for the head. And that is it, and then you should just be able to pick him up And you might have to experiment with how long you want the string to be, but you can see that you can walk your dog. There. If you made some different puppets, you could have a puppet show then, and you could make up a story about your animals for your puppet show. So I just want to show you, this is my little dog. That's that one, and you've seen how to make that one. And then this was my original one, which was a giraffe with a very long neck, and I just made some really tiny versions of the legs to make antlers for my giraffe, and he's got a little tail the same. And then I also made a unicorn. So this is to show you that if you don't have any paints, you can cover your toilet roll tube with paper and glue it on. And then I decorated my unicorn with a rainbow, and I put a tail on him, and I've also put a mane on him. Can you see that? Made out of paper in the same way. And a unicorn horn, a rainbow unicorn horn. You might notice that his legs are a little bit different. So I did this in case you're finding that this folding is quite tricky. You can just make legs by poking some holes with your blue tack and pencil in the bottom, like this. So you'd need 4 holes, 1 for each leg. And then you can thread through just some more string if you want. So let's see if I can get that threaded through again. So you thread it through one leg from the outside, and then you take that bit of string and you thread it back through the hole, which is also a bit tricky. I might need to make my hole a bit bigger for that one. Hold on, I'll find my pencil. There we go, that's better. So you can see you can make your hole bigger if you need to. And then we can get the string out the other side. So you've got the same piece of string, and it's gone into the holes and then out the holes. Then I just made some hooves for my unicorn with some cardboard. Here, some little triangles. So I just got 2 triangles of cardboard and then put some glue on one of them, and then stuck the bottom of the string onto that, and then put the other bit on top to make a string sandwich with the string in the middle. Let's do one for the other hoof as well, so I've got 2 more here. So if you don't fancy doing all that folding and you want to make it a little bit quicker, you can just use string for your legs like this, and that's fine. There you go. And then I've done that the wrong way now, just turning around. And then triangles for the hooves. There you go. So there is my unicorn. Hello. Puppet. So I hope you'll enjoy making one of these, and take your time, because it's really worth spending a bit of time and getting it right. And you can have a lovely puppet show with your animals then. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed this Sunday craft, and I hope you'll join me next week for another one.